This is Kenny of Kenny's Audiophile Record Reviews. Thank you very much for viewing my video. As always, please like and subscribe. Hit that thumbs up button. That'll help out my channel analytics. In this video, I'm going to review 3 jazz albums. These are magnificent jazz albums, just sensational. Jazz is a very expressive and dynamic art form. And when I express or explain to audience what I hear, I try to bring the same enthusiasm because like I said, that is a magnificent aspect of jazz, a listening experience. I try, when I review these albums, to bring some type of enthusiasm in terms of what I hear. I try not to come across as if I'm teaching, a differential equations math class or a, third semester of calculus math class. No, I try and bring some enthusiasm to these videos because that's what jazz is all about. But like I said, one is on a Blue Note classic vinyl series. Another one's a very nice live jazz performance, a 4 LP set. And one is on CD that I bought from a thrift store. But it's a magnificent jazz performance on CD. I'm going to start with this one. Now, I showed this in a box opening video, but I have not reviewed it yet. It is Keith Jarrett and a Trio at the Deer Head Inn. This was originally recorded in 1992. It was originally released on CD and cassette format in 1994. To the best of my knowledge, this was not released on LP format, and I could be wrong, but to the best of my knowledge, it was not issued on LP format till late August 2025. This performance features Keith Jarrett piano, Gary Peacock double bass, Paul Mochin drums, and I'm going to quickly show the contents of this box for those who did not see the box opening video. I'm going to quickly do that. And then I'm going to show, at least explain what I hear, what I heard during the listening session. Do I recommend this album? I'll give the sound a score and the performance a score. This is the back of the album. It might be too bright because there's sunlight coming through the window, so I apologize for that if that is the case. That is the back of the box. This is the side of the box, which contains 2 gatefold LP sets. Each gatefold contains 2 records. This is the first gatefold, the front, the back. And this album set, 4 LP set, costs $139 and change. This inside of the gatefold. And I think it was put together very well, for the most part, by ECM Records. And the second album gatefold, the front and the back. And again, sorry if that is too bright. And the inside of the gatefold. And real quickly, this is the hype sticker. This album, the Trio, like I said, Keith Jarrett piano, Gary Peacock double bass, Paul Mochin drums. I'm not discuss Keith Jarrett and his piano first, where the piano is very wide and dimensional, very vivid in the soundstage. You can hear the minute details of the piano. Like I said, the piano was recorded in a manner such as is highly dimensional. And like I said, it doesn't necessarily like a lot of piano recordings that the piano is recorded at a fixed location, where his piano is very wide, very vivid within the sound stage. It's not like in a fixed location. To a lesser degree, Paul Mochin on drums, at times he's in a fixed location, but when he solos, the solo part is very wide, very deep, very tall, and very dimensional. And those two, the piano and drums, they were recorded exceptionally well. And especially when you turn up the volume, you can hear the intimate details of the recording. Even the audience applause sounded quite nice on this 4 LP set. Gary Peacock on bass, who was in the center of the soundstage, I felt could have used more detail. That could have been recorded better. The dynamics could have been better. It could have been more vivid, in my opinion. It would have been cool if Gary Peacock on double bass, it could have been cool if the bass was recorded at the same excellent level as the piano and the drums. In my opinion, they were not. Although the bass sounded nice, it had, they recorded, it captured the frequency range of the bass well. It just wasn't enough detail in terms of recording, in terms of presence in the recording, in my opinion. There are some very nice songs that you want to concentrate when you're listening to this album, like the song Straight No Chaser, the Thelonious Monk composition. They do a very nice version of that song, and same with Someday My Prince Will Come. Now, there is a very dynamic and dramatic performance on this album. It's in the song You and the Night and the Music. That was an exceptionally great and dynamic and engaging live jazz performance. And also the song, what's the name of that song? I Fall in Love Too Easily. That is a beautiful piano live performance by Keith Jarrett. Very nice performance. It really, overall, this performance was excellent. When I entered my music room to listen to this 4 LP set, I was just going to listen to the first gatefold, which is 2 LPs, and then listen to the second gatefold the day after that. But I was so engaged with this performance, I listened to all 4 in the same recording session. It was a beautifully performed, fantastically recorded live jazz session, again on ECM Records. Like I say, when you turn up the volume, it's just, at times, it's like very vivid, full, and dimensional, with the exception of perhaps the bass. It could have had more dynamics to it, more presence. If I'm giving the sound a score, I'm giving the sound a 9. And I'm discounting the sound to a 9 because Gary Peacock on bass, I thought it could have been recorded. It was recorded well. It could have been better. It could have been. It would have been cool if it was up to task to the drums and piano. And in my opinion, it wasn't. But it did sound good. It could have sounded better. So I'm giving the sound a 9. It was very, like I said, very. At times, the piano and drums had that "you are there" feeling in the room. At least on the equipment I was using. If I didn't mention this before, again, I was using a Rega P8 turntable with a Apheta 3 cartridge. My phono stage is a Whest SWHEST.20 phono stage. My preamp is a Pass Labs X2 preamp. And my amplifier is a Balanced Technology VK60. Again, that's Balanced Audio Technology VK60 tube amplifier. I love that equipment. And this live performance sounds great on the sound stage in my small music room. It just filled the music room, and at times you felt like you were in the venue. It was a beautifully recorded, exceptionally well performed. Again, performance a 9.5, sound a 9. Keith Jarrett at the deer head end. Again, this costs approximately $140. I'm a Keith Jarrett fan, and to me, the sound and performance was greatly worth the price of admission, in my opinion. The next one I'm going to present, and I'm equally, if not more, enthused about this record than the Keith Jarrett record, to be honest with you. This was issued on Blue Note Classic Vinyl Series. Lee Morgan, The Procrastinator. This album, I believe, was curated from recordings, 2 or 3 recordings from 1967 and 1969, and it was not issued until 1978 for some reason. And again, this was reissued in 2025 on a Blue Note Classic Vinyl Series. And this album, I'm very enthused about this album, by the way. I get to that second. It features Lee Morgan trumpet, Wayne Shorter tenor sax, Bobby Hutcherson vibes, Herbie Hancock piano, Ron Carter bass, Billy Higgins drums. And let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. This is what I call a slick jazz album. That's what this is. The performances on this album, from the first cut, from the first song, The Procrastinator, to the last song on side 2 called Soft Touch, are all sensationally outstanding jazz performances. I mean, when you listen to The Procrastinator, you have, if I recall, Lee Morgan in the left speaker, Wayne Shorter in the right speaker. It's good to have the horn section separated. Billy Higgins on drums on the right speaker. Ron Carter and Herbie Hancock were on the center of the soundstage. Bobby Hutcherson on vibes. I think he was probably a little bit left of center of the soundstage. A very nice spread, I must admit. And when you listen to The Procrastinator and you hear the solos of Wayne Shorter and Lee Morgan, it's just sensationally over the top, fantabulous in my opinion. What a great performance of that section of Lee Morgan and Wayne Shorter. And The Procrastinator is a very infectious, beautifully performed jazz groove. That is an outstanding jazz song. Why did they wait so long to reissue this album till 1978? I have no clue, but every song on this album are just, it's outstandingly sensational. And then they back it up with the song Party Time, which is just as great as A Procrastinator. And then after that, the song Dear Sir. That is a beautifully performed, a beautiful song where you have great solos by Lee Morgan, Wayne Shorter, Bobby Hutcherson, and Herbie Hancock. That's a beautiful song. On side 2, you have the song Start Stop, and I believe that's a song, and I could be wrong, where Billy Higgins at the beginning of the song, and I could be wrong on the song. There's one song on here, it could be Start Stop, where Billy Higgins has a very brief solo at the beginning of the song, and Billy Higgins is in the right speaker. But at the beginning of that song, you can hear ambiance, echo, and delay that goes all the way to the left speaker. That is an outstanding effect on this album. What a magnificently performed album this is, where all the songs are just sensational. This is one of the better albums that I heard in 2025, in my opinion, on my stereo setup. It's just outstanding. I mean, the performances, I mean, if I were to judge the performances on this album, give it a score, I rarely give 10s in my videos, and I'm not going to give this a 10, but it's close to being a 10 without being a 10. If I were to score this album in terms of performance, I'm going to give it a 9.75. In my opinion, that's how greatly transcendent the performances on this record are. I mean, you have Lee Morgan and Wayne Shorter and Bobby Hutcherson get down on this album. To a lesser degree, Herbie Hancock. A masterclass in jazz. When I think of jazz, this is what I think about. Lee Morgan, The Procrastinator. A 9.75 in performance. The sound, I'm going to discount the sound to like an 8.5. Here's the reason why. Ron Carter on bass is too buried in the mix. It's at times, and I have a pretty decent stereo setup. Ron Carter on bass is, at times, he's like non-existent. That's ridiculous. It would be cool if he had more. And he's in the middle of the soundstage of Ron Carter. It'd be cool if he had more, you know, forward and in-the-room presence for this jazz recording. Why they decided to have Ron Carter so buried in mix is beyond me. But that's a huge fault on this record. The bass was not recorded that well, and to a lesser degree, the piano. So I'm going to give the sound 8.5. Sound of 8.5, performance is a legit 9.75. Again, this is one of the better jazz albums I've heard in 2025. Lee Morgan, The Procrastinator, issued on a Blue Note Classic Series label, mastered by Kevin Gray from the original analog master tapes at Coherent Audio. That is a masterful jazz album, no doubt about it. The next one I'm going to review is a CD that I purchased at a thrift store, and it goes to show you great music can be found everywhere. I just happened to find this at a thrift store. I'm going to briefly mention this one. This CD was issued in 1991 on Windham Hill Records. Billy Childs is the artist, a great piano player. The name of the CD is April Touch, and he performs masterfully on this CD, Billy Childs, and he's backed up by Tony Dumas on acoustic bass, Mike Baker drums, Bob Shepard flute and saxophone, Walt Flower trumpet, Bruce Flower trombone, Jimmy Johnson bass. And if you want to hear a magnificent straight-ahead jazz piece on this album or CD, listen to the song 4x5. 4x5 is the name of the song on this excellent jazz CD. What a great performance. But listen to 4x5, that straight-ahead jazz piece, and then go ahead and listen to the title track, his April Touch. You get at least an idea what the CD is all about. I think this was arranged by Billy Childs as well. And it is a magnificent jazz performance by Billy Childs, fabulously put together. This was, again, if I mentioned this, mastered by Bernie Grundman. It was a nice recording. The performance was even better. Check this out if you've not heard this CD before on YouTube. What an amazing jazz performance. If I would judge performance, it's a legit 9. Great jazz in 1991 by Billy Childs. The sound, however, I'd probably give it like an 8.5 because the sound stage could have been wider. It could have had more dynamics and more detail. So the sound gets 8.5. But check out Billy Childs, his April Touch, a thrift store find for $2. Those are the albums and the CD that I reviewed on this channel. If you're familiar with the albums or the CD, please leave your comments in the comment section below. I appreciate that. If you want to donate to my channel, there's a PayPal donation link in the description below. Those donation aids in me buying records and CDs to present on this channel. And also, as I always say, there are PayPal donation links in the description below. Those products are for sale. I get a commission for the sale of those products. But even if you don't buy those products and go through those links to Amazon and purchase something other than albums, other than what's in the items for sale in the description below, purchase something that you truly need and just go through those links, I'll get a commission for that sale as well. So please keep that in mind. Tell your family, friends, and loved ones to go through the links in Kenny's Audiophile record reviews to Amazon to do their Amazon purchases. So I'll get a commission to buy records to present on this channel. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much for viewing my video. God bless. Please like and subscribe. God bless, strong love, and more important than music. Let's keep the peace worldwide.